Okay, very nice meeting you guys. I'm Henry Lee. I already graduated from all the schools I want to attend. So I have a PhD in molecular biologist. Also, I have 30 honorary doctorate degree. So all my life, spent a lot of time studying. So important to have a solid foundation to gain knowledge, and doesn't matter which field or career you choose in the future, the best important thing is to have knowledge. Okay?
So first, what inspired you to become a forensic scientist?
Actually, when I was your age, I want to become a basketball player. However, one night I realized I don't have Michael Jordan's DNA or Yao Ming's chromosome. I cannot be 7 feet tall. So each of us have a physical limitation or mental, intellectual limitation. So I decided to go to police college. The reason really is my family. I was growing up in a very poor family. My father was very rich. Unfortunately, when I was 6 years old, my father passed away. My mother had to raise all 13 kids. So if I'm very rich, you become very poor. The only university in Taiwan that time, the police college, is free, no tuition. That's the reason I entered the police force. And over the year, I learned so important to have evidence to solve those cases. You can't just interrogate people. That's violate human right. Also, some people cannot stand the interrogation, make a confession. You actually did not solve the case. That's why in 1965 I came to US to get my degree, doctorate degree. That's how I started my career.
What were some hardships that you went through?
What's the hardship? Huh?
Like something that was difficult?
Of course, when I come to here, I wasn't born in the US, so language is a problem. I don't speak English. Second issue, I don't have money. You have to pay tuition. You have to raise a family. I have 2 kids, 1 daughter, 1 son. So now that's the hardship. You have to study in this country. Looks like everything equal. But they are still have a certain profession, jealousy, professional jealousy or discrimination. So you have to overcome all those difficulties.
What advice would you have for immigrants or Chinese Americans?
For new immigrant, you have to learn all the communication skills besides oral communication, written. In addition, you have to get your mouth, participate in the greater community, the greater society, and get accepted by the other people in the greater society.
What would you say are some of the biggest successes of your career?
In my career, I'm really lucky. You always have a star. Somebody can guide you. Can be your parents, or can be your sister, sibling, can be your best friend, and when you start working, can be your boss. However, you have to show you're willing to accept, to adopt, to work hard. In your life, not going to be smooth forever. So very so often you hit the bump, but don't give up. The worst thing is to give up. If you fall, get up and re-energize and continue walk again. Every day, walk a couple of steps. By each step, leave behind an impression. That means in a year, in 10 years, you look back, you have achieved a lot. Okay?
Were there any instances where you thought of giving up?
Hmm?
Were there any times when you thought of giving up?
Give up, as I say, the only thing you don't want to do is to give up. Once you give up, everything's gone. So you have to challenge, keep challenge the impossible to show the world you can do it. Of course, when I become a professor, I have to show the student to work hard. The professor cannot give up. When I become the laboratory director, I have hundreds of people work for me. If I give up, what they going to do? When I become the state police commissioner, I cannot give up because all thousands of officers and the people work in the department, they follow you. So don't ever give up.
Most of your careers are you being a leader to other people. What are some lessons that you learned from those positions?
Actually, you learn from each other. Every day, you can learn something from other people. Like today, although you ask me a question, I give answer, you learn something. But at the same time, I learn so much from you guys, too. Chinese have an old saying, 三人行，必有我师. Have you ever learned that sentence? Okay? So you can learn from each other. Always like a sponge, absorb. The more knowledge you have, the better you are. Okay, good.
What would you say is your favorite aspect about being a forensic scientist?
The favorite aspect of forensic scientist, when you solve a case, when the victim's family crying on your shoulder, thank you. It's not mandatory reward. That's a glory. Of course, a lot of people say, I probably have more news article people cover up on me all over the world. And, but most rewarding thing is to help others solve their problem.
Do you have any advice for others pursuing a career in your field?
Okay, if you want to make a lot of money, don't pick this field, forensic science. That's a lot of work. Also, you have to have logic mind, care observation, ability to reconstruct, ability to work with others.
So what has changed in the forensic field from when you started until now?
The question, early days, when I entered the field, we used to do so-called fingerprint, pattern work, shoe print, those mechanic imprint impression. When we started, we do ABO typing, just like the blood typing, there are 4 different types, right? Who can tell me what's 4 different types? Yes?
A, B, A, B, O.
Excellent. All right, so that's all we can do. So at RMC, if we found a sample, we say, that belongs to A type of person. But almost 45% people, 40% people probably type A. So if you're type A, not necessarily you're guilty. But now we look at a molecular level, DNA. Except identical twins, everybody have different DNA. So we can distinguish people much better now. Also, if we don't have a suspect, we can search the data bank. Now we have a big data bank. We start using artificial intelligence. We start using more advanced chemical method to develop fingerprint. You can do image analysis, so many new exciting things happening in forensic science. OK， 还有吗？这么多问题。
What are some regrets that you have or some advice for younger generation?
Okay, the advice is to have knowledge in your mind, have courage in your body, have honesty in your heart, and have friend in your life.
I guess what kind of impact on society do you wish you could make as a forensic scientist?
The forensic scientist will based on evidence. So we helping guarantee the confidence of citizens to the justice system. Also, we help people to protect their life and their financial security. So forensic science play an important role in the national security against the foreign terrorism or invasion. We also help people to protect their freedom, not wrongfully charged for the crime.
Can you elaborate more on the role of your Institute of Forensic Science?
The role of forensic scientists, we should be totally objective. Should not take a subjective view. When a case happens, you have to let the evidence speak for itself. You should be honest, try your best to analyze the evidence and report faithfully, instead of influenced by news media or commentator or police officer. So whatever you're finding should be scientifically correct. And your report should reflect the science, the principle, and the result. Okay, good.
I have one question.
One more question, okay.
What would you mark as your greatest accomplishment in your career as a forensic scientist?
My view or other people's view?
Your view.
My view, I don't think I have accomplished that much. And I did a lot of work, wrote a lot of book, and give a lot of lecture, solve a lot of cases. That's what they're supposed to do. So the credit I should give to my team is a teamwork. Solve a case, not like the movies, one person, not like CSI. By second commercial, they already solved the case, have a coup. By last episode, they're eating in a fancy restaurant. Our work is not like that. It's tedious and long, middle of the night, group of people work hard to solve the case.
Can you, sorry, can you walk us through maybe a general series of events that the group of people would have to go through to solve a case?
Okay? Just like your reporting team, at the crime scene we have a team. We have photographer, we have people take video, we can have people take the audio, we have security people, we have detective go interview people, we have medical examiner do autopsy, we'll have forensic odontologist check the teeth, we'll have a forensic anthropologist look at the bone, we'll have an entomologist look at a maggot, we'll have serologist look at the blood, DNA scientists do DNA typing, we'll have toxicologist look at the drug, we'll have forensic psychologist try to profile, we'll have criminalists to examine the crime scene, to put everything together. There are 36 separate disciplines, area in forensic science. When people know so much about flowers, plants, pollen particles, when people study hairs, when people study fingerprints. So all those people have to work together. Okay, good. Thank you.
So let's appreciate Dr. Lee's time and she specifically leave this time for you. And instead of get interviewed by other big journalists, so let's give him a big applause.
You guys are the future of the country and of the world. So I appreciate your time to come to talk to me. Okay?
Thank you.
Good luck
Thank you.
in your future.